Hello, hi y'all. It is Thursday ruled by Thor, the 29th of October. And I guess I should say I didn't go live yesterday for this because there's people working on our roof and it was just a lot of hammering and stuff, so I didn't think you could hear it. They're actually on the roof now. Maybe this will go sideways real quick, but so that's why I didn't do it yesterday. I tend to do daily car jams. I mean, that's the first time I missed one in maybe over a year or something like that. But so that's one thing. I didn't do it yesterday because of construction. And then I just want to say thanks to everybody sending me vibes. I made a post earlier that was like, send vibes, please, thanks. I'm not going to go into details about where I'm at, but needless to say, between the astrology for everybody, um, things about addictions, relationships, all sorts of stuff is going on. So I appreciate everybody taking the time to be kind. It's much appreciated. And yeah, so thank you for that. It will be reflected in the song I play in a minute for today's card jam. So today is a white rhythmic wizard day guided by timelessness. It's a throat chakra day. We're going to be speaking truth, hearing truth, hopefully. But with so much going on in the astrology, it's kind of a shit show, right? It's a Sun in Scorpio. Moon is at 15 degrees Aries, conjunct Mars in retrograde, so both in Aries. Mercury's in retrograde in Libra now, so relationships is where Mercury, communication and relationships, is kind of fucked. And Venus is in Libra. And I would have said that yesterday, but I didn't do it yesterday. So hopefully, with the Sun in Scorpio, it's about suspicion and taboos and sexuality and power and extreme, right? Radical kind of torture, even potentially Scorpio. With the moon in Aries, it's reactive, it's impulsive, it's passionate, it's explosive. Emotionally, I think, yeah, you guys could probably start hearing all these thudding about. It's gonna get loud. With Mercury in retrograde in Libra, what we're dealing with is Mercury, communications and thoughts, going into Libra, balance, relationships, harmony, beauty, and it's in retrograde, so we're having to assess if we trust relationships. We're having to assess if we trust what is true and beautiful and balanced. Is it really what, equal? All this kind of thing. Venus in Libra is also, that's where we're finding our love. So, in Venus is exalted in Libra too. I have Venus in Taurus, where it's also exalted because Venus rules Libra and Taurus, but and with Mars in retrograde conjunct Aries and Moon, right? It's really an explosive moment. It's interesting that the elections are happening right now. It's interesting where my personal reality is, and other people who I've been talking to recently. Everybody's going through it in one way or another. So let's all try to figure out more about it, shall we? And I apologize ahead of time if it starts getting insanely loud. Because there's construction on my house, and that's why I avoided it yesterday. They might be doing it all week, so I'm trying to just roll with the punches. Life is not always what as I say, it's a box of chocolate. Sometimes you bite in and it's fucking coconut. Sometimes it's hard chocolate with no creamy filling. Hopefully it's vegan. All right, so we got the wheel today, which is rather appropriate. I feel this on a lot of levels. I should say, though, today is a Vishuddha Chakra day, so if you're going to be doing chakra meditations, focus on your throat, do the mudras, do the mantras, all that jazz. You will find magic. I'll be meditating today for fucking sure. We got the wheel of fortune in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, but in this it's the wheel of something else. So the wheel of life, right? Which makes me think of the Led Zeppelin song, Good Times, Bad Times, right? You got it all. The wheel of life. Karmic forces are at work. Balancing the light with the dark, understanding nature's cycles, watching time pass. Meditation, kind of just chilling, not trying to react. Open yourself to the unfolding of life around you, right? I understand there's a time and a season for everything. I might have some really serious lessons in this right now, personally. Page 42, nonetheless. The only truth is change. Like seasons, our lives are in parentheses, evolution, so revolution. The wheel of life shows us that every living thing is in full cycle, from birth to death, followed by rebirth. The law of conservation of energy states that the energy of a closed system must remain constant. Our universe is this closed system, so the energy in existence has always been the same. Nothing is ever gained or lost. The forms our energy take, however, are constantly changing. Winners turn into losers, winners, good guys or bad guys sometimes, bad guys. The yin-yang shit, dynamic yin-yang shit. The artwork depicts a vast wheel surrounded by ghostly figures. It is symbolizing the personality journeying through time with all its different facets, the dramas of who we pretend to be, the different parts of ourselves which struggle for dominion in a world that operates on the principle of scarcity. The belief that there is not enough produces such struggle, such suffering. Not enough money, not enough love, not enough attention, not enough health, not enough whatever, time, right? Not enough freedom. All these things that produces struggle and suffering. The ghosts of the past and the ghosts of the future dance to the great wheel of time. The projections of the past, the projections of the future. Right? They're not even real anymore. They're ghosts. Searching out who we were, what we said, and what might have been, seeking where to go, what might occur. The mind, ever restless, analyzing, commenting, distancing itself from the heart. And the mind is not the heart. They are different operating systems in a sense. So we can only make so much sense of reality. And if we try to figure it out in a sense, we may miss the whole fucking point, which is to come from the heart. We are always projecting ourselves onto life out there. However, viewed through the lens of at the center, the all-seeing eye reminds us that there is constant, unchanging center to all changing phenomena, the hub of the wheel, right? It's true our lives are in constant process of change and evolution. Every project, person, business, government, and country is birthed, matures, and dies. Much as we try to control our lives, nothing stays the same, and death and decay must come to us all. All the movement, and death is Scorpio's sun, right? Transformation is occurring, right? All the movement, all the striving, relinquishing causes such pain and discomfort because it takes us out of the present moment. The present moment when everything is just as it is, spacious, yielding, if only we let it be so. This is the center of the wheel of life. When we open ourselves to the aliveness of the present moment and all of its unfolding perfectly, let me repeat that. When we open ourselves to the aliveness of the present moment, all is unfolding perfectly in the mystery of life. It's happening through us, not to us. We don't have to be victims of it, right? It's a choice, even that mentally. We expand and receive the wholeness of the moment, poised, alert, utterly alive. We wholeheartedly accept what is, love what is, without judgment, meeting the isness of the moment. In such moments, we have no wish for it to be different or better or more. We have no disappointment, no sense that it is not what we worked for. Nothing to be, nothing to do, nowhere to go. This moment is complete unto itself, untainted, unmeasured. We shift perspectives from playing a character or role in life to the space in which life occurs. The wheel of life also reminds us that what appears positive and uplifting contains the seed of its opposite. So whenever something major changes in our circumstance, to not be overly attached to the outcome. You've met the man of your dreams. How wonderful. Maybe yes, maybe no. You've moved to your dream house in the country. Lucky you. Maybe yes, maybe no. There's opportunity in everything, brilliance in everything, the cup overflowing with life in everything. Very appropriate to where I'm at, so I'm glad this is popping. Karmic forces are at work, balancing the light with the dark, understanding nature's cycles, watching time pass, and opening yourself to the unfolding of life around you. Just witness, be the hub of the wheel, witness well. So let's get some clarifiers. I can hear all this construction, much like my life, very loud and dramatic right now, so sorry. Let's see what we can clarify. I'm doing this reading for myself as much as y'all today. I'm like, I need to know what the fuck is going on. Sometimes feeling out of control is even a good thing. It reminds us that we're not in control, that we're witnessing things. We can't control where the wheel's turning always, or what's on top and what's on bottom, what's good and what's bad. We've got the child. Beautiful. So, let's get reading on that. The child. This is about new beginnings, innocence, magic, divine love, trust, hope, forgiveness, awareness, potential, anticipation, and dependency. And with Venus now in Libra, like the beauty of relationships, the newness of relationships. I'm trying to make it so y'all can see this because it's a little bright with the white here. So, key phrases: a new beginning, see your potential, heal emotional and psychological wounds. I am there. Time to play and laugh. Acknowledging your successes. That's very important. With Venus and Libra, it's like, know both. You're fucking up, but you've done some good things too. Don't just focus on the good and ignore the bad. Don't just ignore the good at the behest of the bad. It takes good and bad. Wheel of life, right? The wheel of fortune. It's all the things. So, favoritism. You can't just be like, I only want sunny days at the beach and no rainy days. It's like, that's not how life works. And I'll just be like, well, only rainy days happen. It's like the sun pops out too, right? So time to play and laugh, acknowledging your successes, delighting in the moment. We was just talking about being in the present moment, right? Believing in magic, laughter, healing. I'm going to have to try to laugh today. Turning dreams into reality, forgiving the past. Big theme I'm on right now because my past is coming to haunt me because I haven't made peace with it. That's happening to a lot of us, I think. So we got to be forgiving the past, reconnecting with innocent pleasures, like healthy pleasures, and putting doubt aside. The child stands confident, taking innocent joy and delight in her connection with the world in which she dwells. She is untouched by fear and full of hope and trust. Despite any hardship, struggle, and harm she has faced, so shit happens, right? She continues to see only beauty through the eyes bright with wonder. She sees the good in all. She is both magical and magical, an innocent soul who believes in happily ever after. She knows that she's chosen to be on a wheel, and she's happy to be on a wheel. There's bad, sometimes she's crushed by the wheel, but the wheel also rises. She's happy to be here, magically speaking. Joy and the ability to dream are the gifts of the child bestowing upon you. It is time to dream and imagine and to believe that anything is possible if you are willing to try, and that's a big deal. Willingness. With Mars in retrograde in Aries conjunct the moon, we might be emotionally stuck, and with Mercury retrograde, we're just like, I don't want to move forward. I want to hold on to my drama. I want to hold on to my story. I don't want to move. I want to, and it's like that kind of stuck. It's like it'll change if we bring the innocence to it. If we allow the wheel to move without trying to pump the brakes and hold on a position of, even if we feel good about feeling bad, we might be victims because of certain things, and we're not letting those things go because they give us an identity, in a sense. Forgive and forget all past failures. That's a big deal. And that doesn't mean it doesn't matter. I mean, forgiveness can involve a lot of tears, where you're like, man, I really fucked up, but I forgive it. It happened. I'm human. We're here to learn. That's Earth School. Forgive and forget past failures and disappointments. Turn mistakes into positive lessons instead of reasons to give up. Let me repeat that. Turn mistakes into positive lessons instead of reasons to give up. We can always find a reason to give up. We can always find a reason to get off the wheel if we want. But at some level, when you're on the wheel, you continue the game, right? Be hopeful. The child represents positivity and potential, a new beginning, one that will bring happiness and joy to your life, especially if you're willing to embrace an open mind and heart and put ideas into action. When was the last time you paid attention to your daydreams? Moments when you allowed your imagination to wander away from the mundane. So often, it is in these moments that our minds show us the truth about what we really like to be doing with our time. Does something prevent you from making your dreams a reality? Usually it's us, so let's not blame others in a sense. If so, are the reasons legitimate or founded in doubt and fear that you will not succeed or do not deserve to succeed? Do you dream of a holiday in a distant land? Do you dream of changing careers and doing something that you love? Or does your daydreaming reveal a simple desire to reconnect with nature? Whatever your dream, now is the time for you to act. Put doubts and skepticism aside and delight in doing something that you love. Give yourself permission to do what you need to do in order to make those dreams come true, right? So the wheel will keep turning. It's beautiful, right? The wheel of time, karma, the wheel of fortune, the wheel of life. But we need to come at it like a child with hope and innocence and forgiveness. Forgiving the past, forgiving the future. The future's not going to be perfect. We tend to project only positive or absolute negative into the future. It's both. It's a mixed bag. That's all anything ever was. So let's try to be ingenious and playful and hopeful and light-hearted, light-minded with these things. Not take things too seriously. I'm learning this right now myself. Right? What happens when disappointment happens? What happens when miscommunication happens? What happens when dreams are deferred? Do you tap out? Right? Some people do. And I don't suggest it because I think we don't understand those consequences of that. I got birth and expansion in the Galactic Heritage cards, number 13, Lyra. So, what are we birthing? New dimensions in the wheel, but ultimately a child we're birthing, right? This is the birth and expansion into newness of life, hope, the present moment fully explored, that kind of thing. Let's go ahead and read what this says. It's funny how just doing this kind of magical stuff makes me feel better. So it's cathartic. I'll say that's half the reason I do this shit for myself and half the reasons for y'all. Venus and Libra win. And Mercury retrograde and Libra win. So 13, Lyra, birth and expansion past timeline. As the Lyran civilization grew, it unleashed a tremendous amount of creative energy. There was so much excitement to build this new civilization and expand into the galaxy. It was a time of optimism, enthusiasm, and creative experimentation, very much like a child, playful, willing, open, hopeful. This card reminds you of the ancient time that you were a part of, and it encourages you once again to find that creative spark within you. I had a message given to me. I'm not really sure how to take it because there was two messages, one of which I'm like, what? I don't want kids. But the other one was like, your grandfather is like talking and he's saying, you don't have to be addicted to things. You're very creative. Like, let go of those things, right? So even that, it's like, don't be afraid of your creativity. I've been afraid of my creativity in a lot of ways. I'm afraid of success, I feel, in some ways. There were times when you were punished for it, when being weird or creative was not a good thing, but that reality has passed. It's time to release the karmic pattern of fearing your creativity and trusting the universe to support it. Because this card refers to the time period of Lyra's past pioneering spirit and their commitment and enthusiasm to building the physical reality that they desired, which is a masculine trait, you might think this card that represents a focus on masculine energy. That isn't necessarily true. It refers even more deeply to the creative process of the Lyrans, which, when used in a healthy way, was a very balanced expression. Venus and Libra. Very balanced expression. Child, I mean, this could be thought of, like a child could be thought of in a feminine way, but it's like, it's balanced, right? The wheel has both light and dark, but it's balanced. Children are both male and female. In their journey to mature as a species, the Lyrans used this creativity in both ways, and they learned the lessons of selfishness when they made unconscious, self-serving choices. Just like the children or teenagers learn about the results of their choices, so did the Lyrans. If you have this card in your reading, look at the surrounding cards. If there's a theme of several cards that warn of ego traps, pay attention to your hidden desires for your creative process. And I think what we're getting a bunch of, it's like, be childlike, be open, be willing to know you don't know. Know that the wheel turns. Don't just hold on. You cannot have summer all the time. Winter occurs, and when winter happens, you don't kill yourself, right? Aren't you glad aren't you glad the trees don't all just stop producing stuff because they're like, oh, it's winter. I hope. No hope. There's hope. There's birth and expansion still, even within times of hardship and sorrow and death. Scorpio Sun. If there is a theme of, if the cards have a theme of nurturing your creative process or spiritual development, child is very creative, nurturing, right? Then you are encouraged to trust your creative process and take risks with it, even if you don't know where it will lead. You don't know where the wheel's going. The wheel turns. The wheel keeps on turning. Big wheel, keep on turning, or whatever the fuck. That was a compilation of a few songs. Big wheel, keep on turning. Right. So anyway, the point, the wheel is happening, and we have to enjoy the ride as a child would, holding on loosely. Attachment is the root of suffering. I'm trying to figure out what's worth being attached to at some level. It's like, what, you can't just give up when things get hard, right? That's just not healthy. Birth and expansion, growth and expansion, birth itself is a painful process. It involves placentas and ripping of flesh and blood and guts and crying babies and everything. Oh my, right? But when we're birthed into this place, when the wheel goes from in utero to ex utero, wow, because life is a changing process. When you become a child in this 3D reality, I just almost lost everything there. Pulled my headphone cord. When you're a child in this reality, it's about coming in with hope, lightness of being, playfulness, creativity, in order to approach every chapter of life, every season well. And when you can do that, you birth more and new and expanded potentials. Let's go ahead and get an animal oracle card. It's funny how much better I feel already just doing this stuff. So just like, do the things you love. The blues sucks. Drinking and sitting in a bar and talking about your problems might help for a minute, but generally speaking, that doesn't lead to higher vibrations. It leads to repetitions. The wheel stays stuck. It's like you got to keep moving the wheel. We've got the owl, wisdom, number 4. It's funny. I heard an owl. I've only heard an owl around here a few times, one of which was a long time ago, right when I was talking to my fiance at first, I think, closer to the beginning of a relationship. Never hear owls. It's like, hoo-hoo. The other day, an owl. I heard it again. Ironically, when me, my brother, and she were talking, and it was like a sign from outside of myself. It's like, oh, be still, peace, wisdom. Like things, the birds are here. Don't worry. Page 23. Wisdom. Open your eyes and see what is really there. So let's not delude ourselves, right? Look for the whole truth, as you may only be seeing part of the whole. We tend to see what we want to see and what we allow ourselves to see. Like, you can't see what you don't think you can't. You're limited by perception, and we're all limited beings, right? So don't think you have the full picture. Get as much information as you can. Try to make wise judgments. Don't just make impulsive ones. Well, but with the moon in Aries conjunct Venus or Mars in retrograde in Aries, exactly, like basically within a degree, we're going to be making very impulsive, emotionally rash decisions without much wisdom, probably. So this is going to be happening. So I'll try to hurry. Construction. So through this experience, we can gain the wisdom to not make the same mistakes again. The wheel continues. The child who skins their knee. The wheel continues, right? Like you can move forward through birth and expansion through the process. You don't have to be hung up on the same mistake over and over. The child learns. The child learns. What up, Amani? So through experience, we can gain wisdom to not make the same mistakes again. That is going from fetus to deathbed. That is the child's journey. And we're all children. However old you are, you're a child of life. You're a child of light and love and experience and all this stuff. Develop your learning and intelligence, as education is never wasted, no matter what the situation is. And I do apologize for all the hammering you're going to hear now that they're starting the construction. No education is wasted. No opportunity. Look at everything as a school. There's a lesson. How am I operating? What can I learn? How are they operating? What do I know more about them? Blah, blah, blah. Right? It's all a lesson. Negotiation is better than attack. Venus and Libra. It's more beautiful to come to a place of peace and reconciliation and understanding and compromise than just being in your corner, stabbing the other person, saying, I know best, right? We don't see, that's not wise. That's not healthy, right? The Greek goddess, here's the mythos. The Greek goddess, and I should say I'm watching this Blood of Zeus anime halfway through. It's pretty good, so Greek gods coming up, right? The Greek goddess Athena was a virgin daughter of Zeus, and it is her birth name that gave the Greek god, that the Greeks gave to their harbor city. Beautiful, strong, refined, and very rational, Athena thoughtfully encouraged and led her human subjects and mentored her favorite heroes. The ancient Greeks loved Athena, and many complex temples were built in her honor. Her mythos states that she was born from Zeus's brow, so the third eye wisdom coming from the brow, and later sat by his side in Olympus for all decision making. I guess you guys hear how a roof is built now. A goddess with many attributes, including weaving, scholastic attainment, intelligence, philosophy, and olive oil production. There was very little that Athena could not influence. Her avatar, an owl, symbolizes her reputation for wisdom. It was said that this very modern goddess had a cool beauty and that her eyes were bright and observed everything, just as an owl would, giving her a reputation for total watchfulness. Very Scorpio sun, right? It's like, I'm watching everything. Give her a reputation for total watchfulness. In her early form, she was also a goddess of the night. Scorpio is very, night, death kind of vibes. So having a nocturnal bird as her avatar makes rational sense. It was said that even as a younger goddess, Athena saw out the whole truth and so wanted to ensure that she saw all sides of a situation before she made a decision. She wanted to know what the whole fucking wheel was before she rolled out. Does this car have brakes? Let's see. Oh my gosh, does my turning signal work? Oh my gosh, is there fuel in the tank? Does Siri tell me where I'm going? That's loud. So, sorry about that. She knew owls had incredible vision and did not miss much, so she decided to always have an owl with her if she could to keep an eye out on her blind side. This way she would miss nothing and see everything, especially anything that was dark and hidden. Dark and hidden, sun in fucking Scorpio 101, right? The animal. Owls are found on every continent except for polar caps and are normally one of the apex predators of a region. They famously have big eyes situated in front of their heads and are mainly nocturnal. As hunters, the ability to perceive prey in low light or darkness is of vital importance, and these birds have evolved to do this very well. The eyes are placed within a feathered facial disc that acts as a kind of capture shape to direct sound into ears. The eyes do not move much, so the head can swivel almost 360 degrees in some species. Interestingly, I'm going to talk louder because I imagine this is problematic for Facebook. I'm on headphones for the YouTube, but y'all hear everything. Interestingly, a large proportion of owls have an asymmetrical head. I said that already. Owls are incredibly silent, both sitting and in flight. They have neck ruffles that muffle the sound of their head during flight. Their head turning rather, and their wing feathers have serrated ends that enable them to swoop down on their prey and virtually with no sound whatsoever. It's very hard to concentrate now too. Mercury is in retro with Libra, so it's like, oh, them and us are having an issue with mentality because they're making noise. The owl best associated with Athena is the little owl, Athena noctua, which was often depicted with her artwork. These birds have quite distinctive big yellow eyes framed in startling white eyebrows. The magic, that's kind of why we're all here, right? So the magic, the use of owl magic is an ancient practice. The energy is used in cultures as diverse as ancient Greek and Roman to Northern European and First Nations of the Americas. Use owl magic when you seek wisdom, Lord, help me. I need the wisdom right now to know what to do. Seek wisdom in a situation, and perhaps you are not seeing the whole truth and wish to do so. Sometimes people think they see the whole truth, but they don't. Like, gotta see the whole wheel, right? And don't just think your perspective is all there is. That can be the shadow of Scorpio Sun, where it's, and with the, especially with Moon and Aries, where it's like, I'm going to react based off of the evidence I have, and I have a secret file, and they think that's the whole file. And it's like, no, you have like 2 pages. You didn't get the full dossier, right? So we got to use wisdom here. Owl magic is helpful when you cannot make a decision or when you need to take a rational view of an emotionally charged situation. Heard, right? Because right now it's very volatile emotionally. Scorpio Sun is like, very obsessive, very extreme emotionally, and then the Moon in Aries is explosive. It's selfish. Aries is the self for the first time coming online, and then it's also a warrior. So it's defensive. It's attacking. It's not. It's using weapons no matter what. Symbology, frontal shape emotionally. So we got to be careful with that right now. Come into a rational place, not an emotionally charged place. Symbology, frontal shaped large eyes with discs around them. Athena holding an owl, talons, the color silver and yellow. Status, Athena noctua is of least concern, but some owls are on the endangered species list. We have to see the whole picture. We have to understand that life has ups and downs. There's good and bad. There's truth and falsity. It's all one thing. Come at it like a child with no expectations, or few, and play with life, and you'll be birthed and expanded in such a way that you'll love life. You'll come into more and more wisdom. That's why the kingdom of God belongs to a child. The ever-expanding universe within you, the kingdom of God, is what? Childlike. Why? Because it's hopeful, naive, maybe to a point, in the sense that it's not jaded and bitter. It knows, we'll come to know that it takes all levels, but we have to play life. Life is not here to be suffered through, although it's suffering, right? The wheel turns, oh my God. But we're here, we chose to be here, and this child is choosing to learn, right? So Lyra is saying birth and expansion. We're birthing into what? Newness of being, new relationships, Venus and Libra now, with a full moon coming up, I think, tomorrow. So there's just a lot going on. And wisdom is available to those who ask. I mean, ask for wisdom. Wisdom in the Bible is talked about as a woman. So it's like, pray for wisdom. Thinking you know everything is not the good move here. That's the ego, and it's going to make you fuck up. It's going to ruin your life. I'm saying that to myself as well as anybody listening. So it's just like that self mode, Aries moon and Scorpio, where it's like, I will defend and attack, and I got to be secretive, and this is very Scorpio sun. That's not going to work. It's going to sabotage. It might feel good for the moment, just like, killing someone might feel good when you're angry with them, but then it's like, do you really want the blood on your hands? Do you really want to be responsible for having taken a life? Probably not. Damien Hirst. Damien, money, more money, more problems. Hirst, adult enfant terrible, adult bad kid is basically what it says, is among the most celebrated and lucrative artists of his generation, a winner of the Turner Prize, and preoccupied with the subject of mortality. Very Scorpio sun, right? Death, right? Aided by scientific and pharmaceutical advances, Hirst's artwork offers wry commentary on humanity's ineffective faith in tech and medicine to heal our existential wounds. Likes on a fucking Facebook page, or pills, or, VR isn't going to make us happy. AI, all this stuff, it's not going to fix our wounds. Among Hirst's trademark flourishes are the suspension of sharks, calves, cowheads, and dissected pigs in formaldehyde, the diamond incrustation of cast human skulls, very artsy taboo stuff, Scorpio sun, and the display of so many pharmaceuticals in backlit cabinets. All roads lead to a psychological cul-de-sac. Oh, all roads lead to what? The hub of the wheel. They all look different. It's like one thing though, right? And we're naive as a child might be with our birth and expansion in a technological age of Aquarius, which might be starting as soon as December 21st. Are we being wise? Are we thinking that we can just externalize all of our knowledge into a computer and it tells us the truth? Are we going to be editing our DNA and all this kind of stuff? We're in a weird time in human history. So let's be wise. But I was saying all roads lead, and that's made me think of the hub of the wheel. So it's all spokes lead to the center. Talk to your local pharmacist, it says. I think, whether that's someone who's going to pull you cards or a psychotherapist or whatever, I think we're at a point, especially collectively, personally, myself even, I'll have to talk to God, talk to my family and friends, talk to my fiance. We're coming to a point where the karma is happening. There's a lot of old karma coming up right now, and it's personal and it's collective and it's intense, right? The only way we're really going to get through this is with the faith of a child, essentially, and to know that we're birthing and expanding into a place of true wisdom. You're not going to know, you don't know about baseball until you've struck out, as well as hit a home run, as well as hit a ground double, as well as foul tipped. Like, you got to know it all to be fully wise. And there's a season for everything. There's a season for love. There's a season for singleness. There's a season for hope. There's a season for despair. Ultimately, we should never lose hope because we're children in the matrix of life and love, and we've asked to be here. But it says, talk to your local pharmacist. Try to find your medicine, to a healthy medicine to get you through the season of life, right? So some people think medicine in the summer when everything's going well is like lemonade and sun tanning. That's medicine, right? And some people think in winter it's like fire and hot cocoa. That's medicine. We don't actually have to go to a pharmacist. You can go to an astrologer, hit me for a reading or whatever, or a card person, mystics, and people can give you kind of consultations, but you're going to have to find your medicine for the season you're in, ultimately knowing that all seasons come and go. So don't fret. Have fun if you can, right? You're birthing and expanding into new, beautiful places. Try to bring the wisdom of past lives, past experiences, because we live many lives in one lifetime. Try to bring all that wisdom and all that knowledge into wisdom. It's one thing to know, I experienced, how many times have I smoked weed? Thousands of times. Now there's a wisdom from some of those experiences, and there's probably a wisdom from the culmination of doing that ultimately, right? Where it's like, well, I got this, but I shouldn't smoke, and all this kind of stuff. So try to figure out where you're at. Try to enjoy the ride, the wheel of the roller coaster, right? It's ups and downs and lefts and turns and surprises, especially with this full moon Uranus and Taurus situation. It's radical change. Like, there's going to be some tricks and treats for Halloween, more tricks than treats, probably. And we have to just laugh and say, wow, we've asked to be in a weird sci-fi horror movie right now. That's okay. We're birthing and expanding into newer domains of consciousness and being. Try to figure out, right? It says talk to your local pharmacist. Try to talk to your cultural shaman, who you think is wise, whatever. Talk to yourself, your higher self, your God, your family, your ancestors, God, whatever you deem that as, and try to come to some place where you're getting a prescription for the moment in an effective way, if that makes any sense. So let's get a card for today. We've got Chrysocolla. I've never seen this one. Very Scorpio sun vibes. It's mysterious and brooding and magical and deep and watery. So let's see what's going on with Chrysocolla. And then I'm going to play my guitar. I was going to play a song. Maybe I'll play a song and jam. I don't even know. I'm trying to just cathart right now. I'm going through a lot. Chrysocolla. What it is, Chrysocolla forms near copper ore deposits, hence its wavy blue-green swirls left behind by oxidized metal. Like other materials associated with copper, think telephone wires. Chrysocolla opens up channels of clear communication. And guess what today is, kids? Can't make this shit up. I mean, it's just emphasizing, bottom line, it's a throat chakra day, right? Emphasizing what? Clear communication. And it's very difficult, especially probably in relationships, with Venus now in Libra and Mercury in retrograde in Libra. It's going to be miscommunications about love and relationships. A lot of breakups, a lot of miscommunications. That's just where we're at right now, right? Not a good situation for, it is what it is, so we have to accept that, marriages happen and divorces happen, right? Or whatever. And the kid has to just enjoy the fucking ride as much as they can and try to learn the lessons to gain what? Wisdom and birth and expand, right? And seek help. When you need help, seek help. Don't seek it from yourself as well as others. So who needs it? Anyone entangled in the 24/7 fear cycle propagated by the political media complex. Guess what? Everyone's feeling this shit right now in America for sure. Those who could never find the right words with a Mercury retrograde on a throat chakra day, we might be saying all the wrong things in all the wrong ways. Where to put it? Hold it tight to your heart and breathe. And breathing and getting in your heart, that's the name of the fucking game ultimately. Trust me on that. I do a poor job of it. I'm usually in my head, but it's the true. When to use it? When you feel small and vulnerable and are looking for someone to parent you, but then you remember that you are a grown-up, but it's cool because you totally got this. Be your own mama, it says. There's this time and a season for everything. You might feel helpless, like the shadow. This is like, oh, my child, I don't know what's going on. Life is beating me up and spitting me out. I'm birthing and expanding like a child in a fucking gauntlet of experience. But guess what? You asked to come here. Earth School is nothing but a wisdom school. Diamonds in the rough are we. Lights in the darkness to get brighter and brighter. It's beautiful. Talk to your local pharmacist. Right? Seek help. And it might be you or your own doctor. Be your own physician in that sense, right? Be your own mama. You're going to have to take care of yourself at some point. I mean, in some weird way, you can collapse and cry out to God. You can collapse and cry out to a loved one. You can collapse and cry out to friends and family or an animal or a drug or a song or whatever, and these things might be pharmacist, like talk to your pharmacist, get like something to help prescribe you in that mode. But ultimately, you're going to have to face how you went through life, through the circle of life, right? Were you always copping out and taking the easy road? I've done that most of my life, so I've got to not do that anymore. I was being very naive, childlike in a bad way. Double Gemini, child of the zodiac, not too surprised. But birth and expansion, are we birthing and expanding into what? Newness of awareness in a wise way. Seeking help is okay. If you're suicidal, call out for help. If you're depressed, figure that out. I take St. John's worts and CBD, try to get a lot of sunlight and exercise, right? So it's like there's things you can do, breathing. But ultimately, you are your best. You're going to have to save yourself, and you're also condemning yourself as much as you experience. You're creating hell and you're creating heaven. Be your own mama. Own it. With what? Chrysocolla. This is when you feel small and vulnerable and are looking for someone to parent you. Like you're like, I can't do this. But then you remember that you were all grown up. So then you come to this wise point, and then it's like, but it's cool because you totally got this, right? So it's like you got moments where you're immature. You got moments where you rise above. You got moments where you fall. You got moments where you get up. It's all one thing. Enjoy the fucking ride. You're growing and expanding. Wisdom is coming through this process. Like wine comes from fermented grapes. It's just a natural causation of it. Like wisdom will come from this earth school. We will become more wise. It's a choice, but we will become more wise. Seek help if you need it, but ultimately be your own help at some level because you have to pull yourself up from the bootstraps. Nobody else. There's ways that can happen. It depends on your chart. Hit me up for reading. I mean, maybe you need to talk to people. I'm a Gemini moon. Talking right like this is very therapeutic for me, even though it's not doing anything, right? Some people need to go journal. Some people need to cry. Some people need to, you got to do it, but you've got to do it. You've got to do the work. I might play a song and jam. I'm going to jam first just because I'm all like jazzed up all of a sudden. But because I wasn't anticipating to play my electric guitar, whoa, Jesus, 1 second. Mercury retrograde, indeed. Dropping decks of cards, which I use as stabilizing sources. Alright, so thanks for bearing with me, all. I just want to say shout out to my fiance, Haley. She's so dope and beautiful and cool. The love of my life. I hope she never doubts that. So, here, we'll play some electric guitar. I was going to play a Desiree song, You gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. And I might still play it. But for now, I want to play some electric guitar. So you're going to deal with that. I haven't even had tea. I'm pretty jazzed up, and this is non-caffeinated. I've been through a lot of emotions this morning. I know that, so maybe I'm finally feeling, I don't even know, okay. I think the cards help me. Hopefully they help you too. Kind of see a bigger picture than oneself in one situation. This too shall pass, and it might return, and it'll pass, and that's the wheel of life. So we got the wheel. There's the card. The child is the clarifier. Let's play some evolutionary music. What's gonna happen, but it has cycles. It has happy, it has sad. There's some happy, yay, and then some sad. So, I don't think I'll be playing that other song. I was gonna play Desiree. Gotta be bad, you gotta be. So today, being a throat chakra day, try to speak your truth, try to understand truth, try to hear other people, try to hear their perspective. Don't just get entrenched. Understand that everything comes, everything goes. We're here to experience it all like a child, having fun if we can, but knowing that we're going to scrape our knees, lose some teeth in the game too. It's part of the birthing and expansion that is being. Wisdom comes from making mistakes. Wisdom comes from learning through experience. We're in an experience machine, folks. You can't avoid it. So if you need help, seek it out, right? Seek your local pharmacist. Hopefully you don't drug and drink too much. They're not the answers. But everybody has a prescription for what's ailing them. Hit me up for a reading if you want. I can help with that. I have needs. That's why I reach out to other people, right, too. So, but be your own mama with chrysocolla. We have to be the ones to choose to be the hub of the wheel, no matter what the circumstances, no matter what our impulses might want us to lead or our curiosities. We're the ones birthing and expanding amongst an internet of other expanding and birthing nodes. We're all coming into greater wisdom together. We're all helping each other out. We're all doing this individually and collectively. What a beautiful trip. Thanks everybody for the kind sentiments. Like I said, I won't go too much into my problems. but I do appreciate everybody sending me good vibes. Just pray that I know just the cards. I pray for wisdom. I pray for peace in the center of it all. Hub of the wheel. Witness well. That's kind of where I'm at. So may you also have a good day, and hopefully you feel centered, able, and willing to confront the ever-changing wheel and times.